Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I thought, I had a feeling like everything was pretty well received yesterday and this morning, and I thought, I'll just talk about some more things. Uh, I was. We're all so concerned on TV about what we look like, especially women, and so many of us, especially young women. I think there's something really important uh, especially in women, that they want to be looked at, and they want to be people to look them in the eyes, and they want them to say things like, I love you, or you're pretty, or I like you, I appreciate what you're saying, thank you for saying that, things like that. And I think it has a lot to do with motherhood, and I don't think people understand this. They want to look good for their babies. There's something inside of them that wants to get out. They want their babies to know that they love them. They want a relationship. They're very relationship oriented. And people, women and anybody, they can get obsessed with their looks. And especially, so many women, they want to get involved, they want to be talking heads, they want to dress up, and they want to be seen, to be good looking. And I think it's because certainly it is because they see their husbands or their brothers or their fathers looking at women on TV, and they see their faces, and they see how interested they are in them. And of course, a lot of times these women are dressed what I would say is inappropriately, and they're doing things that people would, TV, people won't do things. People will do things on TV that they won't do on stage, because there will be people that will be shocked, if they saw them do those things. But you see people doing things on TV, and only a few generations of television where you would never see them do. You see all kinds of people having sexual intercourse, and women see that. They see their husbands, their fathers, their brothers looking at that, and they're paying a lot of attention. And of course, that does get a man's attention. We're supposed to pay attention to women when they're, naked, or when they're really looking at us, and looking us in the eye, and trying to get our attention and telling us that they care about us. We're supposed to be like that. That's natural. That's good. But what's going on here is so many of these women, they want to be talking heads, they want to be on the news, they want to be movie stars and looked at. It's because they want to be looked at, and I guess I would just say, the one thing I would like to say to the fathers of all these. Now, I've talked before about, like, for instance, I said about Eliana and Karen that I was hoping people would say to them that they would look pretty, it would make them feel good, and I noticed that church leaders never do that. They never do that. But the thing is, it's so important to a woman, and I think that especially, and it's not inappropriate for a father to say that, or a brother, or maybe someone who's dating a girl. It can be appropriate. It's very important, you fathers, especially you fathers of those girls that are talking heads, and women that are movie stars. Gee, you really ought to go tell your daughters how pretty they are. You really ought to spend some time looking them in the eye and telling them, some man is going to be very glad to marry you someday if that's what you're interested in. You're a very attractive young woman, and you're a very desirable young woman, and you could be a wonderful wife and mother to children someday. And they'd be very pleased to have you, and how they'll appreciate you. And especially, this is an especially nice thing to say, especially when your daughter or your mother, or your daughter or your brother, or your daughter or your sister, has done something really nice for you. You know, when they do something nice, you know, reward them. Say, you know, you're a very considerate young lady, you know, and you're very pretty, and you're very pretty when you do things like that. You know, this would do a lot for people. And the other thing is, women get a lot of social needs out of caring for children and being in a relationship and interacting with them and showing them that they love them. And it's a lot of work. It's difficult, and the other thing is, women, they're always trying to teach their kids values and to do things without being told. And it's very rewarding when the kids start doing things, and if the mothers are really persistent. So it's really rewarding. And some of the, my mother, she was so close with, especially my sisters, especially the three older ones. She would spend so much time with them and talk to them about all kinds of things, and really, really tight. You know, I mean, all my. Well, I was talking to my mother not too long ago, a few years ago, and we were talking about, you know, what was going to happen if she got sick, or if my stepfather died and there was no one to take care of her. And she said that all her daughters, you know, I was telling her she could come and live with me. I would move to a bigger place. And I would get a bigger place, and she can come live with me if she needed to. And she said, well, you know, all my daughters want me to come and live with them when they get old. That's how you know, they love my mom. You know, I mean, they're really, really tight. She's really, really tight with all her girls. And this is because of you know, my mom, she was a very sought after. I mean, if you see pictures of her when she was a young girl, she's a very, very pretty young woman. And I know she was very sought after, but she's never a person that wanted to flirt with men or be seen by men. But she's somebody that always wanted to do things for her family and do things for her children. And she would do things. She would sew for long hours. And so, you know, women, they love dressing up their kids and making them pretty. She would do things like, she taught my sisters. There was all this cheerful noise coming from my sister's room when I was, when they were teenagers, and they would be brushing their hair. My mother taught them to brush their hair. And of course, back in those days, the style was to have straight and long hair for young girls. Of course, you know, that's the prettiest. But anyway, we're so obsessed with what we look like, and everybody wants to be on TV. And everybody wants to look good on TV, and you know, let's I want if we can look good, like I said before. I mean, if we take the time to especially women, you know, if they this is something that's really inside of them. They're really relationship oriented. They want, you know, to make sure that the people, if you can make the people who you love know that you love them, that's the main thing, and you're going to get what that is that you're looking for. You know, I mean, that thing of being looked at, of people looking at you and knowing that you're loved, and looking at you and knowing that you're appreciated and treasured. You know, that's the, and it's a really important thing, and it's so. It makes me feel so bad that so many women, they're so concerned about their appearance and not how people see them. Those seem like the same thing, but they aren't. You know, I mean, what they see is in their heart. You know, and anyway, my mom's like that. She knows who she is. She knows that the people that she knows that she wants to know who love them, she wants them to know that she loves them, know that she's good at it, and if you do that, you're not going to worry about what you look like and you get old. And the other thing is, there's so many people. I think when I was young, you know, like, we worry about what we're going to look like. We don't think about it. We don't think about getting old. We think, well, we'll be miserable. If I looked like that, I'd be miserable. You know, and it's like, life gets better and better when you get older. I hope all of you get to be my age. You should plan on getting to be my age. You should plan on being happy, having a happy life all the way through. You know, that's what we want for you. That's what we want for our children. We want for you to be happy. We want for you to live happily into your old age like us. You know, we want for you to have children and enjoy raising them, and raise them to be good, and raise them to go up to heaven with the rest of us. Anyway, that's one of the things I want to talk about, and how important it is for our fathers and brothers and things to say that, you know, how pretty you are, or how, you know, how we appreciate, how we treasure our women and stuff like that. You know, it's like, I think it wasn't too long ago, President Nelson, he said something like, you know, the first duty of the priesthood is to care for women, for heaven's sake. You know, it's one of the most important things. So that's one subject I wanted to talk about. Let's see, it's been 10 minutes and 30 seconds since I started talking. What else would be good to talk about today? What other issues have we got going on? We can always talk about the government, what a mess it is. What else can we talk about? I think it's a really great thing to have a dog. We had a dog, and you know, they're so wonderful. They're so protective. They'll protect your children. They know that they care for you. They're the best security system you can ever have. A dog can sense when some people are gonna intend to harm you better than any security alarm, and they'll raise a ruckus. You know, and there were a few times I would get into fights when my dog would be around, and the dog would just would not let anybody hurt me. You know, all those kind of fights that I've been, you know, they were very short. You know, I'm like any person that was an aggressor towards me knew that they were going to be in trouble. You know, if they meddled with me, because my dog was not going to let that happen. So they're really wonderful animals, and I love cats too. My sister was a cat person, Mary Ellen. Oh, I was going to talk about being an older brother and sister, and responsibility. You know, if you want to take over another country, see, there are all these bad people in the world. There are a lot of evil forces in the world, and and I spoke before about these people. You know, these anal rapists, they feel very powerful because they were overwhelmed by powerful people, even their parents, you know, when they were little and raped. And they feel very powerful doing this kind of things, but they're not powerful. It's Satan that has power over them. And Satan likes people to hurt people. Satan likes people to be miserable, like he is. And they're just, Satan's just making them miserable, like, you know, himself. And they're not really, you know, happy people or powerful people or people that you should respect. They're people that are very sad, and we should feel sorry for them and try to help them if at all possible, and protect ourselves from them too. But anyway, where was I going with all this? Yeah, you know, there are so many. We ought to. I talked. There was this boy. It seems like I'm going off on a tangent, but this goes back to what I was going to go. There was this boy in our neighborhood who had a paper route, and you know, like the government is trying to say, oh, we're protecting children by making their parents make them work. You know, you should help your parents. You know, and it gives children a sense of value to have a job and do things, and plus, they like to make a little money. You know, I mean, it's nice for a kid to have a little money to go and spend on things. You know, if he wants things, and it teaches them the value of work and responsibility. And of course, if there's some country that wants to overtake another country, one of the most, you know, and if they're going to take a long-term approach to it, they undermine the youth. You know, teach them to be lazy. Teach them, make sure they don't learn responsibility when they're young. There's this show that I like to watch, a Japanese show, I think it is, on Netflix, and it's called Old Enough, and it's so funny. It makes me laugh to think about it, but what it is about these kids, these toddlers, And what they do is they give these parents, they're very, the Asian people are really into teaching their children responsibility at an early age. And what they do is they give these children some kind of errand to do. And it's usually they're toddlers, and it's always something that these kids, it's probably too much for them to do, but because it makes it funny, it makes it funny, the things that they do. Sometimes they fail or they make mistakes. It's just funny not laughing at them or anything, but they're really cute. And anyway, they'll do these things, and but that's part of their culture, the Asians, and they know that it's very important to teach children responsibilities early and just keep giving them responsibilities. You teach them responsibility by giving them responsibility. And a lot of times they fail, but that's part of it. You teach. They learn from their failures too, and so it's a really great thing. But that's how they undermine our country, is by keeping children from working, keeping them from growing up. Undermining their chastity. All those things. So that's how. Anyway, that's how those things are done. Now there was this boy in my neighborhood who had a paper route, and everybody he always had money. We would go to the store to buy candy or something or whatever. He always had money. He always had money to buy things, and if you're nice to him, he might buy you something. So everybody. Everybody, admired him. Everybody envied him. He had a job, and this is the government, trying to mess you up at an early age on behalf of the communists, so this is what's going on. Now, the other thing, I say it's important to help your parents around the home. We're raised, especially TV teaches you this, and my parents believe this, and my grandparents believe this, that children shouldn't have to work. They should just have fun all the time, and that's not good. It's really not good. It's better to learn some responsibility and learn to work. The old TV shows of Lassie, you see the black and whites that I've talked about before. You see this little boy, I think maybe he's 8 years old, Timmy. He's coming home and he's doing homework. What 8-year-old child does homework today? It's like children are being less and less disciplined and learning less and less to work than ever before. And everybody knows that the kids are being dumbed down. Like the educational standards, you give kids the tests that they were given, 20 years ago, and they just fail on them miserably. And this is because we're not teaching our kids, we're not teaching them responsibilities. It's really important to teach your kids to help in the home. My little sister, she worshipped the ground that my eldest sister walked on. She would follow her around the house and just do anything to get her to talk to her. And my eldest sister loved it. She loved it. And my little sister just wanted to be my eldest sister. And of course, when you're little, what you really want to be, we don't think about it much, but when we were little, what we really wanted to be was adults. And my eldest sister was, as she was becoming an adult, my little sister just adored her. And if you have such a great effect upon the younger members of your family, to be a big sister is just a great thing. It's like being a mother almost. Your younger family members just look up to you so much, and you can have such an effect on their lives. So if you take, and I think. And it gives you a sense of when you take on work like this, especially in the home, it really does something for your sense of self-worth. It's like you feel like, you're really somebody important. It made my eldest sister, even though my little sister was so young, I think she was 8 years old, it just did so much for my eldest sister to think that, she just adored her. And the other thing is, when someone looks up to you like that, you want to be a good example. So that's really important. And there's a lot of blessings that come on from taking responsibility, especially not only doing work in your classroom, but also taking on work in your family. Taking on responsibilities. So, there's so much you can do. There are so many single mothers, and they feel like they've got to do all the work in the house. I would say, you kids and stuff, you ought to offer to help your mom around the house and help her do things, help her do the laundry, help her clean, help her make dinner, make dinner for her. Try to do stuff around the home. Take care of your little brother, your little sister. Do things for them. You're gonna feel really good if you do these things. I mean, it's when little kids like to do things and parents don't realize this. That little dolls, one of the first toys that they give little girls, and are these little baby dolls that and some of the times they'll wet their diapers. These baby dolls, they're made to do that, and they and little girls like doing that. They like being like their mothers. They want to be loving like their mothers. So children like to help around the house. So if you really want to, it's important to get your kids to help with everything. I mean, anything your kid can do, anything you can do, you can teach your child to do. And you'll be training them, for heaven's sakes. Look at these missionaries. It's like they don't. A lot of their mothers haven't taught them to clean around the house. And so I tell you, I've been to all these I used to go out with the missionaries all the time, and it doesn't reflect. It's kind of a bad thing to. I mean, I like these guys and everything. I don't want anybody, but they were filthy. They would not keep their homes as clean as they should, and so it's really important to teach your children to take care of themselves. To discipline them, to make them work, and they'll thank you for it. This is something they'll have to do later in life. You're teaching them life skills, and there's no point in waiting till they're grown up, to teach them how to clean their room, or to teach them cleaning skills, or housekeeping skills, or how to cook their own meals. So, and you're doing them a favor. My parents made me work. They made me do all kinds of work, and I feel I have to thank them for it. They were really helping me out and teaching me important things to do. They taught me to work. My parents, they were very interested in my schoolwork. My dad would come home, especially after I started going to this prep school where he was paying money for me to go to school, and he would come home and he would stop by my room every night and ask me how I was doing and how my schoolwork was coming along. And I don't know. A lot of times I'd say, well, I don't understand this thing, and I'm trying really hard, and I'm doing as best as I can. And my dad said, he'd always offer some words of encouragement. He'd say, well, just keep plugging away at it, son. You'll get it. When your parents are working so hard and paying money for you to go to school, you take it a lot more seriously. You really apply yourself to things like that. So if you homeschool your kids or do anything like that, your kids are gonna learn to work. We want you to be happy. We want you to work, not because we're angry at you or we want you to suffer. We want for you to be happy. This is important. It's made us happy. It makes us happy to work and build homes for you and to supply you with clothing and shelter and food, and because we love you, and you'll feel the same way when you get older, and if you learn these things early, they don't seem like such a bad thing anymore. and you're even kind of happy to do them. I'm happy to do many of the things I'm doing right now. I'm happy to be doing many of the things that I am. I'm happy. I know that there are crazy things that happen every day around here that I can't write about because I can't tell you about them. But I know that good things come of them, and I know that many of the sufferings we do, it's like I said before, this life is very short. It's very, very short when you think about it. And there are people that are just like, well, we better just have much fun as we can, or try not to think about it. Try not to think about how short life is, or we're going to there's going to be some consequence of it, or where we go eternally. And it's the things that that last the longest that are the most important. And there are things that are eternal. To teach your children. We want to teach, for heaven's sake. One of the most important things that happens. We're taught that we were in heaven before we came here, and then we go back to heaven, and then we get resurrected and we get a body again. But before we were here, when we were in heaven, we didn't have a body. And here we've got a body, and then we die, we don't have a body again, and then we get resurrected, we get a body again. And of course, what you're going to be able to do with that body in eternity is very dependent upon what you do with it here. And so chastity is a really important thing. And also to take care of your fellow man. If you're, a spirit, you may not need food. You may not have deformities in your body. You may not have disadvantages, or you may not have be born with a birth defect, or be mentally retarded and not be able to quite take care of yourself. So, but if you take care of others, you can count on being taken care of in the next life, and things like that. You have to believe that as you do unto others, you'll be have that done unto you. It's a very important thing, even if it doesn't seem like it's going to happen that way in this life. It's very important to care for others, and we can't, and to do as much as we can. So, so anyway, it's good talking to you people. I'm glad, and I'm glad to be going through a lot of the things that I'm going through. I'll tell you, I don't like. I'm glad that it's not. I know this isn't going to go on forever. And even in this life, I know it's not going to go on forever. I don't think these people are going to. I look forward to many good things in my life. God's given me visions of things to have to look forward to in my life. And I'm an ordinary person just like you. And I'm doing pretty much what you'd be doing if you were in my situation. And I know that there's a brotherhood of man, and that we all kind of have many things, values that were born into us, to love our families and to love God. I think many of us are born with the love of that when we're little, and these days we seem to forget it because it's almost against the law to share our faith, especially in the schools, which, they should be teaching us we have the right to share anything about our faith, by our constitutional rights. But anyway, and of course that's what you see in the media too. But anyway, God bless you guys, and thank you for listening. God loves you. I love you, and we'll talk to you again later.